Welcome back to the Gold Room, where we're taking our mining suppliers, mining service providers from the mic out to the mine. Joe Johnson attended the mine closure conference here in Western Australia in Perth and thought of what an opportune time to get him in to tell us all about it. So, Joe, thank you very much for coming in, taking the time to speak with me, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Not a problem.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure.
Awesome.
So,
Cheers,
look
mate.
forward to it.
Well, look, as we do with everyone that comes on the show, mate, can you give us dial us in with a life and the times of Joe Johnson, mate? Where did you come from?
Oh, bro. So originally a born and raised Aucklander on the North Island of New Zealand.
Yep.
Loud and proud. And my background is in greenkeeping. But prior to that, like everything, you try quite a few different professions in life till you find that one thing that you're just really passionate about, enjoy, makes getting up in the morning that much easier, you know, where going to work doesn't feel like going to work. So you kind of wonder, how did a man from Auckland, greenkeeping on golf courses, end up on mine sites? Well, let me take you through that journey.
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. Cheers. Thank you.
Let's go. So, yeah, I did my apprenticeship in sports turf management in a place called Gulf Harbour, just north of Auckland. And I was there for a few years, worked a couple of national tournaments, then went to another place called Royal Auckland, which is just in South Auckland. So it's quite a unique little place there. And then after that, went to a place called St Andrews in Scotland. And that was a pretty magical experience in itself. So I was there for the 2010 Open, where Louis Oosthuizen won the tournament there, and I've actually got a photo of me photobombing him and he's holding his trophy and everything like that. So
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was.
You'll have to send it through to us.
Yeah, I will. That was a pretty magical experience in itself there, and where you get to meet and see people up close, like Tiger Woods and things like that. You know.
Wicked.
So yeah, I was there for 9 to 12 months, and then after that, came to Australia, actually. Worked at a place called Royal Melbourne in Australia, and that's actually ranked the 5th best golf course in the world.
Wow.
So, yeah, and that was another amazing experience as well. Worked another tournament there called the President's Cup, and that's where I actually got to meet Tiger Woods and
what, handshakes and everything?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
awesome.
send that photo through to you.
We can do that,
So
bro,
me and
don't
Tiger.
have a choice.
But then, I guess, something that really resonated with me was when I was in Scotland, they were really quite not strict, but really conscious of the environmental impacts and sustainability. And that's probably something that really resonated with me. And I'd always want to get into the seed business. So after my time at Royal Melbourne, I came back to New Zealand and worked for a company called PGG Wrightson Turf. So I know it sounds like it's a turf business, but it's probably predominantly supply the turf industry. But while that also happened, so they're a seed business, first and foremost, an R&D based seed business and plant breeders and really R&D focused.
Awesome.
And I guess during that same time of going back there, the Christchurch earthquakes happened, and that was really probably my true throw me in the deep end of rehabilitation and what can grow where, and getting involved with government agencies and helping them come up with a solution to this devastating natural disaster that just leveled a lot of Christchurch.
I went down there and saw it. It was horrific.
Yeah, so it's about 700 hectares that got turned into the red zone effectively, and that got turned into green space. And it was, as unfortunate as natural disasters are, it's really nice to be involved in the solution. So yeah, having that real bottom-up approach, figuring out what grasses go where, what's the desired outcome. We need lower inputs, less mowers going on it. So let's get a shorter stature grass. It's not going to grow as high as your traditional agricultural types. Just a lot of things like that really took, that really kind of gravitated me towards rehabilitation. And then after that, there was another natural disaster, the Kaikoura earthquake. So
I was over here then. What year was that?
So that was, off the top of my head, that was 2016. Don't quote me on that. Might have been 2017. But
I remember seeing the footage.
Yeah,
photos of it and on TV as well. It looked devastating.
Yeah, it was. I was living in Christchurch then, and I had one of my mates, Phil Gould. I don't know if you're there.
I know Phil.
Big shout out to old Phil Gould. Anyway, he was staying with me down because he was working for PGG Wrightson Turf as well, and the earthquake happened, and it was just this rolling one, and it actually woke me up to the point it was just rolling for a good part of a minute or two. And I went and checked on the kids, even going down the hallway, shaking side to side, and just checking that the kids were all right. They were. Checked on Phil. He was out cold.
Yeah. Few bevies.
Yeah, the brother. So yeah, did that, and then we kind of realised what the true gravity of. Sorry, my headphones jack's just playing up. Bear with me for a second.
Yeah, bro. Sort it out.
Yeah. All right. So the true gravity of what the seismic event had happened, and there was just a huge devastation, cutting off the main State Highway 1 transport network for rail and kind of trucks and things like that. So it was a really disruptive event. But once again, nice being involved in a natural disaster and the rehabilitation and effectively opening the roads up again and slope stabilisation and things like that. So
Wow.
yeah.
So what's involved in slope stabilisation? So are they mesh, rocks? What are they doing?
Yeah, bro, if you ever get the chance to drive through Kaikoura, it's an actual engineering feat what they have done there. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So there was a lot of various different kind of practices that were put in place for geotechnical stability. But I guess the stuff that I was involved in was more around the superficial erosion and slope stabilisation. So, the geotechnical piece, you need percussion-driven anchors, you need just that real deeper, I guess, stabilisation techniques, whereas I can help with the superficial erosion, which is, starting off with a soil test, so understanding what is happening with the soils, what pH is it, and then from there we can select what vegetation would grow there, and while doing that, selecting the right erosion control material as well. So we've partnered with, I guess, the world's largest hydraulic erosion control erosion control manufacturer and profile products, and what they
Where are
produce.
they based?
They're based out of the US, and it's actually a byproduct of the furniture industry. So if it wasn't being used for this, for rehabilitation and things like that, then it would be finding its way into the waste stream. So we're really, I guess, using that circular economy and using a byproduct to, one, help seeds and vegetation establish, while also having the dual purpose of preventing erosion and more slip stabilisation, to the point that there was actually a significant rain event. So the cyclone Gita happened after some of this product was applied onto one of the slopes, and the contractor at the time contacted me and said, I don't know if it's going to stay there. And it was a 70-degree slope, 300 mil rain event over 3 days, and it was
Just
still
another
there.
casual day in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, yeah, it was just another one where I guess you're nervous about certain events and things like that, but if you select the right product or the right solution, then, and this will go across any, multi-facets of whatever supply or product you're using, just select the right one that's fit for purpose, right? So
That's exactly right, man.
Yeah.
Never a truer word was spoken.
Yeah. And I guess that's how it all flowed into mine rehabilitation as well. We spoke about diversification just before as well. And I think, if we were to throw all of our eggs in one basket, so civil infrastructure or mine rehab, or there's always going to be peaks and flows of each industry. So the more you can diversify, I think the more sustainable and the more successful a business model can be.
Yep, for sure, mate. So what were some key takeaway points from the conference, do you think? How many people attended?
Yeah, so 600 delegates. It was sold out actually.
Wow.
So it was and to be fair, it was each session, preliminary session, everything, it was standing. People were standing at the back, and there was 600 seats out, and people were still standing. So the rooms were rammed. And some of the key takeaways, I guess, is, and Australia's got some really challenging environments, right?
Sure does.
I'm out here in WA, and all I see is sand.
Yeah.
Like,
Mate, they've got some nice hill country.
yeah, and there's stuff
still
growing.
stand up there.
There's stuff growing on there. So there's some really awesome stuff happening in Australia as well, especially around the abandoned mine projects and things like that. Like, there's a lot of abandoned mines in Australia, man, a lot.
Did they tell you how many?
I've got a picture. I should send you the picture.
Yeah, do that.
Should send you the picture.
Wellesley said that the picture was crazy.
Yeah, so there's blue dots for inactive mines, and then there's the orange or red dots for active mines, and the number of blue dots was just mind-blowing. But there's people out there doing good things, that's wanting to turn those abandoned mines into either a recreational area or just making something from nothing. Just greening it again. It was really cool engaging with various... So we had a trade stand there. So Jurovich had a trade stand there, kind of dual purpose, go there for education, but as well as, I guess, highlight us as a supplier, solution-based supplier for that hydraulic mulch into, or trying to grow vegetation on challenging conditions. Like, that's what I absolutely love. The more challenging, the more rewarding it is when you get that desired result, right? So... Yeah. But there's some awesome innovation out there, some really amazing 3D modelling that some of the consultants like your WSPs and things like that are doing into the industry. BHP had a really massive presence there. And Rio Tinto. It was, I guess the takeaway for me was the delegates and how engaged they were in adopting or wanting to know about innovation and what new things are there out there. So
the mining industry's great at doing that. They always want the best. They understand that we're taking these valuable resources out of the ground, but what are we doing after the fact? So I think that's awesome. We've got great environmental teams. A lot of the big companies are leading the charge in that aspect, so it would have been great. I would have loved to attend myself.
Maybe that could be a good prize that we could give away next year or something like that.
Who knows? Yeah, that's a great idea.
Have a week on us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it was. There weren't too many, because obviously I'm New Zealand based, so my role is business development manager for PGG Wrightson Seeds or PGG Wrightson Turf. We all fall under the same umbrella. And then in Australia here, we have another brand under that called Durovich, and that falls under directly for rehabilitation and things like that. So
okay, cool. So are you assisting in heading that up yourself?
So there's a person that does my role here in Australia, and we both attended this event. So it was really cool to be able to just spend the time with him, but also really network and drum up some business together. So
cool. Was it successful, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of our most successful ones, actually. So
really awesome.
Just with the engagement that we had from key industry people really wanting to learn, and they gave us good learnings as well. They came and said, oh look, this would be a really good way to how you could penetrate this market here that's next to a town, because they want this greener, the greener agenda, whereas the more remote mines and things like that, where you don't really have too much of that public pressure to have your mine looking like this green cosmetic oasis. There's less pressure there, so you don't need to have that same approach. They just want to grow something. So
was there did you notice a government type presence? Mm-hmm. Was it Department of Mines or
They were all there.
Okay.
Yep. DESI, or is that what they called?
Demas?
Yeah. Yep. They were there. Fortunate enough, as a exhibitor, we got to have a copy of the delegate list, and that was just that in itself, excuse the pun, was gold. It was just
thanks, mate.
Yeah,
that was good. You throw that in whenever you want.
That's it. That in a magnum. It was just a really good resource, because as people were coming by, you cross off their names and just highlight, look, we engage with them. They're from Pilbara. They want us to follow up, and they had their contact details.
Cool.
So I think
that's awesome.
If there's a conference that does it well, it's the Mine Closure Conference, and we're going to be attending another one in July next year or August next year called the Life of Mine, and that one's in Brisbane.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be another good one. And then in New Zealand, I've got another backup one called the Life of Mine as well, and those two there run by a company called ISIMM, which are like a mining association.
Yeah, I know. I've heard of them. Awesome.
Yeah, I think industry as a general can really learn by having a multi-discipline approach. So, for example, I'm a part of a association or a peak industry body that's called the International Erosion Control Association. So, like ISIMM and things like that. I think what we could all do better is learn off each other, right? So the mining industry or AusIMM or whatever mining association there is could learn off the IECA. IECA can learn off the mining industry. Like, for example, in New Zealand, there's an infrastructure project there that has just actually won the IECA Merit Award for Australasia. But they also have been recognised for an innovation called Forest Duff, that they actually went to a mine site to see how they generated organic matter and things like that for soil, and then to incorporate that into the civil infrastructure project. So having that multidisciplinary approach and learning off other industries or things like mining, it's just, I think, how we move forward as a whole. Definitely. So that's the IECA. I probably segued a bit there, but yeah, as mentioned, they're the peak industry body for writing things like best practice for erosion and its byproduct sediment, right? And sediment is the leading cause of water pollution globally. Wow. So the more we can keep that on site, the better. So I've just finished my term as the vice president on the Australasian chapter.
Awesome.
And I've been elected on to the global board of directors.
Far
and that
out.
starts,
Big things for you, Joe. Far out.
So that starts off, that's going to kick off in February, and that's where I'm heading over to Richmond in Virginia in February. And
so heaps more travel for you on the horizon, eh?
Yeah. Fortunately, my wife comes along on all these international trips with me, except for this one. But love you, babe.
So right.
But she's going to be coming along over to Richmond, which would be good, and we'll just tap on a couple other things there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, link in with, like Profile Products, our manufacturing, our partners there, and things, and head up to the manufacturing facilities and just check out things while we're over there as well.
Yeah, wicked.
So
have you done? Did you get to see any? What was your highlights of after the conference? Obviously, you get to go out and spend some time in beautiful Perth.
Yeah, actually, it's exceeded my expectations.
First time here?
I've been here once before, but not to the point I remember it. You know,
okay.
So like, even just running along the riverside there and things like that was just absolutely beautiful, you know, obviously being able to sit here and do this, my first ever podcast.
Thank you very much, mate. Well, you're doing a bloody good job.
Yeah, the gold room. But yeah, it was just like, because I came over here, and because Perth, right, it's not quite the end of the earth, but you can see it from here, or it feels like that you can. Yeah. But then, you get here, you expect there just to be tumbleweeds blowing around.
The old west.
Yeah, that's it. Like, not even tar-sealed roads.
Yeah. Well, look, mate, there's plenty of those around. There's certainly plenty of those. Just, go a couple of 100 Ks bloody east, and you start to hit some of them.
Yeah, but then you get here, and it's just, it's a really beautiful city. And then I think it might be different depending on the age that you're in and what you're after. Like, I got here to catch up some really amazing friends of ours, and just spend some good quality time with them, which is, what I hold is really valuable. As I was saying earlier, time is one of the most important things that someone can ever give you, right? So to be able to spend some quality time with these guys and is priceless.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Did you get out to Rottnest Island?
Yeah, I did. A quokka.
Oh, you see the quokka, right?
Yeah.
Did you get the little smiley selfie photo?
The cute little, was it a marsupial? Yeah. No, I didn't get the smile, but I got some good photos. And
cool.
First time ever seeing a quokka, and that in itself was, just the whole island. Went to a place called Pinky's Bay or Pinky's Beach.
Yeah, it's nice there, right?
Yeah, so
crystal clear water. It's beautiful.
Yeah, just really put it on. It was a lovely day as well, and I think if anyone ever is on the fence about coming over to WA, I highly recommend it. Getting in here on the gold room.
Everyone knows that I highly recommend it too.
Yeah.
I think it's got the perfect blend, perfect balance of a city life, but also that country feel.
Yeah,
so she's relaxed, laid back, but you get downtown St George's Terrace, and she's hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're into, that's not what I'm into.
Yeah. Hey, what's the main resource that's mined out here?
Oh, mate, there's so many.
Really?
It's a literal melting pot of resources. Iron ore's probably obviously the big one.
Yeah.
It's your BHP, your FMG, your Rios.
Yeah.
But Western Australia, it's lithium. It's got bloody everything, mate.
Yeah.
So it's
It's rich in resource.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It's what keeps the eastern states alive.
Oh, really?
This Western Australian mining is what keeps the eastern states going, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of it, look, that might be controversial. Everyone might disagree.
Yeah.
Heaps of people disagree, but at the end of the day, all of these big businesses, their tax money is going over there.
Yeah.
And I reckon it should stay here.
Yeah. Hey, I was just going to say something else that I got out of the conference.
Yeah, go.
It really is a global conference. Like, I met people from Mongolia, someone from a mine in Laos, in a place called
cool, bro.
Savannakhet in Laos. Yeah, bro.
A little bit of touch of home.
Yeah, so yeah, it actually was. So for those that don't know me, well, will be a lot of you, but yeah, my heritage is Laos, and I went back to Laos for the first time in 2016. So
How'd you find it?
yeah, a real amazing, life-changing cultural experience. So to be able to go back there with my brothers, my mum and my dad, and just meet aunties and cousins I'd never met before, and also just getting my mum's story, right, and hearing the story that she went through to give us the life that we've got. So I was born and raised in New Zealand, but they left Laos in 81. I was born in 82, so they refuged over there just to give us a better life, you know. But the path that they took to get there, you know, to cross the Mekong, to go into a detention camp, then a refugee camp, and they get sponsored to go to New Zealand. Just, the sacrifices that they had at the tender age of 18 or 19. I know when I was 18 or 19, I definitely was not thinking about leaving the country.
Yeah.
I was probably thinking about
The weekend.
Yeah. That's it. Thinking about the weekend, bro. So it's definitely like I said, life-changing, and to be able to experience that while my mum's still alive. It's normally funerals that you hear about people's lives and what they went through and things like that, but to be able to experience it while she's still alive is pretty special, you know. So
Yeah, that's magic.
Yeah.
That's lucky, and it's awesome that you got to experience that.
Yeah, so
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't, like you say,
that's it. Time is precious, right? You know?
Sure is.
So, yeah, the guy that I met from Laos, he's actually from a mine, lives in a place called Savannakhet, and that's where the mine is as well, and it's this big gold mine. He's going to send me some photos. If he does, I'll send them through to you.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah, of the
Try
mine.
and load them up.
Yeah.
Or at least put them on some of the other social media.
Yeah, so he was going to send them through to me because I asked if he could show me some of the photos of the rehab work that he's doing and things like that, you know.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Yeah, so, and Savannakhet is actually where one of my aunties lived. We stopped into that town, you know, and had dinner. Like once again, it's quite a town where they took 14 hours to cook us dinner over coals, you know, whereas I
Hungry by then.
Yeah, I left New Zealand needing to buy new pots because we just moved into a new house that had induction stovetops. So I was like, damn it, need to get our new pots.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you know, you go over there and it's literally it's a reality check because, you know, they're still cooking over coals.
Yeah.
But if anything, happier just as happy, if not happier than you or I, you know.
Mate, I still cook on coals on the weekends. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously a little bit different. I got a Weber.
Yeah, that's it. No, I love my low and slow and my charcoal as well, brother.
Yeah, cool.
But then also met people from Mongolia, Kenya, and the Philippines. Just all like PNG, you know. Yeah,
awesome.
There were people from all over, so it was really a global conference.
I think that's quite inspiring to know that you know, it's not just Australia, not just the Western civilization, Western countries that are actively out there looking at rehabilitation. It's countries that you wouldn't expect as well.
Yeah, and I think it's more so the reputable businesses, right? The reputable companies that really have values for a sustainable future.
Yeah.
You know, and responsible mining and things like that as well. Like I know. Yeah, I'd love to see more New Zealanders come over here, or more mining companies from New Zealand come over here, because I know, for example, Oceania Gold in New Zealand are really at the forefront of mine rehab, and to the point, I don't know if anyone's seen that documentary with Idris Elba, but it's called Journey of Gold or the Journey. Journey of Gold or something along those kind of lines. It's had 20 million views in the last 12 months.
Wow.
And it's literally about the journey of gold. And there's a segment there for the Reefton Rehabilitation project, and it's just industry leading what they're doing there, with using monsoon buckets or using buckets to apply hydraulic mulch. So there's hydroseeders that are filling up the buckets, and it's only taking 16 seconds to fill up the bucket. Then the bucket's getting taken off, and it's 2-minute turnarounds, 1,400 lifts to rehabilitate all the benches. So
Wow,
over
that's
5
amazing.
days. Yeah, it's pretty special what they're doing, and it's been globally recognised. So yeah, I'd love to see. And I'll probably try and encourage the enviros there to submit a talk for the next one, because it's really something that the rest of the world could at least see as a case study,
Yeah, I remember hearing a story from a gentleman by the name of Julian Hayes who worked in Waihi Gold.
Oh, yep.
And he was saying that because obviously fresh water coming out of the hills, and they've got their dams there, and so all the processed water that they're using through the plant, when it goes out to tails, they have to filter it all the way back, and then so it can go back into the rivers.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. They don't do too much of that here. But I just thought, wow, that's keeping it lean and green, isn't it?
Yeah, circular once again.
Yep, back to it.
Like the discharge the regulation around the quality of water that you can discharge, especially back into an environment, a water body, is really strict. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think New Zealand? That's a hot topic at the moment. Do you think New Zealand should be doing more mining? New Zealand's got like an abundance of amazing resources, and I do see in the media. Is it Winston Peters all about it, or someone's all about it? Obviously, Labor not about it. But what do you think? More mining in New Zealand? No.
Yeah, yes. I'm just going to answer that straight, because I think, as long as, and I referred to this term earlier, if you can leave the Jersey in a better place. So part of the resource consents now is that you've got to leave that environment exactly to a better standard to what it was. And that's where, once again, I'll reference that Reefton project. I think they've done that, They've created just this amazing natural, well, not natural, but rehabilitated it to just this amazing, beautiful state, where they're actually creating beehives everywhere to get manuka honey and things like that.
Wow.
So yeah, I think yes, and it's also a revenue stream for the country, right? Yep. You're creating a lot of jobs. Yep. I know there's one mine in particular that's wanting to gear up to get 1,000 people working for them in the next 12 months.
That's amazing.
And I think the fast track bill is really going to help that as well. It's just let's just get it going, and I think as long as we don't abandon the mines and create the bond as so high enough that the mining companies want to be responsible and leave it and rehabilitate it back to a great state, then by all accounts. Yeah,
I think that Christopher Luxon, probably the best thing to happen to New Zealand for a long time. I didn't want to get into politics. I always said to these fellas, no, we're not doing politics, but that's one thing that I think will be, great as long as as long as New Zealand follows through with something, not just as long as they write some laws. So what's going to happen is going to continue on, not just be stopped when the next change of government comes in.
Yeah,
like over east, the government put a hold on a big mining operation. I think Regis Resources. And that was going to be great for the town. It was going to be great for the company. It was going to be great for bringing in workers and the government, for some reason or another, I'm not sure why. They just said, nah, we put a hold on it. Not put a hold on it. It's just not going through.
Yeah.
So you don't want roadblocks like that.
Yeah.
Certainly not in a little country like New Zealand.
Yeah, you're absolutely right when it comes to change of government and things can just get blocked out just straight away, and all at the stroke of a pen, right?
Yeah.
There's a project that I've been involved with in regards to assisting with vegetation selection and things like that, where it started off as a $3.5 billion project over 3 years, and then it's literally just had a cut to 600 million, and that's just, and people have moved for this and things like that, and it's just, it's a lot of families.
Do you know much about that? What happened there?
I
Do you know the red tape behind it?
No, I don't.
That's a
I just
shame.
know the people affected, you know. So I know the people like having to deliver the bad news to the people that have moved and things like that. So yeah, I'm not too sure around the red tape of it all though.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Mate, let's finish up with a question of the highlight. You've been here what, a week? Just over a week.
Yep.
Give me three highlights. Three highlights of your trip.
Yep. Right, the mine closure conference in itself, it brought me over here to WA, you know. Quokkas.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. They'll feel like, yeah, go the quokkas.
Yeah, and just being able to sit here, do this, and catch up with some good friends, you know. Last time I saw you was Bali, I think.
Was,
you
bro.
know,
Was.
so.
Should we show everyone what the tattoo that we got? Nah.
X-Men.
Yeah, so. maybe not. There'll be a few people who'll be like, you don't want to see that.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, and that, yeah, that's in a nutshell, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, cool,
so.
man. Awesome. Well, thanks once again. Thanks very much. Look, thanks very much for tuning into the Gold Room for this special episode. Hopefully, we can get this out as soon as possible because a week after the Mine Expo, that's pretty awesome. Cheers. Thanks very much.